Can you survive 100 days in a mesa-only biome where there's no living creatures and only mobs? Where growing crops is completely hard and unbelievable? Let me know if you want to see more of a mesa biome 100 days. And also watch this video all the way till the end. Day 1 starts with us going on an adventure that I actually had no idea what I wanted to do. All I know is that this was the Badlands, and the first thing I needed to do was actually get wood. Was when I actually came across a mine shaft. Now in this mine shaft there was actually a dark oak little wood section, which I thought was pretty easy to get wood. As soon as I got enough wood, I made a crafting table and some sticks, and with that I crafted my first ever wooden pickaxe. Then I yoinked my crafting table and I headed on an adventure where I came across a minecart, but there wasn't actually anything good other than a name tag. But even then, I wanted to mine some cobblestone so I could actually get some stone resources, because that's the hardest part in this little game. Once I had my first axe, I decided to mine as much wood as I could, because wood is actually a scarce resource. And with that, I ran out of food, so I was just wobbling on a journey. That was when I came across another minecart, and in this minecart, there was a diamond, iron, and a bunch of bread. Once I had acquired food, I headed down into the mine, and this is when I came across a bunch of zombies. Once I realized the whole zombies were just useless, I headed on to an adventure. And the whole point was I wanted to get a bed. And that was the whole reason. But then this guy came out of nowhere. And that's when I knew that there was potentially a chance I might die day 1. I'm not even too sure myself. But I survived barely. I ain't gonna cap. This was hard. But with that, I started mining all the cobwebs to get enough string to actually make the bed so I could actually sleep through the nights. Because there was no way I was staying up. Bro, I barely have any food. With that, I crafted a bunch of wool. And I said goodbye to the first day of the mesa biome. The next day, I still wanted to do a little bit more of exploring. So I went out and I wanted to scavenge the entire area, and that's again when I came across these minecart chests. Again, they're on the surface, which surprises me a lot. But with that, I wanted to check if I could actually bone meal anything, but I really couldn't. So what I wanted to do is I needed a food resource, and that was when I wanted to do fishing rodding. For some reason, my fishing rod just didn't even show up. That still baffled me. Like for some reason it was glitched out and it wouldn't let me do it, but for some reason, which is a funny spot, it still worked, but I just couldn't see anything, so I had to wing it. Yeah, I can't explain this. Fishing with this trippy strat was actually confusing. But either way, it still worked. So after I had enough food, I headed on into the mines to get enough iron so I can actually get some decent gear and maybe an iron pickaxe. Going deeper into the cave, I came across a bunch of mobs, and that was... Nah, it was just spiders, to be honest. But either way, spiders are kind of terrifying. Once all the spiders had been killed, I headed down even deeper into the mines to mine more iron. I don't know why I needed so much iron, but I wanted enough iron to survive. That was when I come across a bunch of creepers just vibing. Again, I don't know why there were so many creepers, but for some reason they were having a whole little meeting. I don't know what happened here, but you know, I almost died at this point, because I don't know if you guys realized, but the creeper actually propelled himself behind me. I had to do some 900 IQ reflex tests. Once I got out of the crazy creeper fest, I jumped all the way down to explore this cave a little bit differently. And again, this is the new 1.7 snapshot, so these are all the new cave updates, because that's the best thing that you want to do. So I found the new diamond ore, and once I had enough mining, I made my way back to the surface where I found a lava source. So this is where I'd call my place home, but for some reason, if I break a block, there's falling sand, and I almost died. The next day, I had a few things in mind, and one of them was collecting enough dirt to actually start making a farm, because I had a bunch of seeds now. Now with the seeds, I wanted to make a little farm, so first thing I had to do was make a hoe, and once I made a hoe, I started to plant these seeds up and use bone meal to make them grow. Now bear in mind, this was probably the most stressed farm I've ever seen in my entire life, because it took me so long. And with that, while I was waiting, I went fishing. Yeah, I kid you not, I was using the most B-Tech strat of fishing. It was so long, but for some reason, this still didn't grow. It took me so long, but these melon seeds just didn't want to grow, and I was fishing for a long time. It got to a point where I got so much fish, I broke so many fishing rods, but for some reason, out of everything, they just wouldn't grow. But then this zombie came out of nowhere, and I just didn't want to deal with it, so I hopped straight into bed while they were chasing me. They wanted to get me out of my bed. Next day, I wake up, and these guys are in my face for some reason, and so is this skeleton. I don't know why. But even then, I headed deeper into another cave, and this is when I came across an unexpected sight, which was a ruin portal and a spawner at the same time, which I didn't think a ruin portal would exist on a mesa biome, but I guess they still do. I torched up the entire spawner. Again, I didn't break it. I know you guys roast me the last time I broke a spawner. Don't worry, I'll never break another spawner again. But with that, I checked up the rest of the loot, and there was some decent loot, but not exactly what I wanted. With that, I quickly mined up a golden block, and yeah, I don't know what else I wanted to do other than mine the obsidian, which actually took me a lot longer than you would have thought. But once it had been done, I was happy. Exploring a little bit more, I came across one of the amethyst shells. I don't really know what the official name for this is, but with that, I mined up as many crystals as I could, because you know, crystals are pog. You can make spyglasses, and yeah, I don't really know what else you can make, but spyglasses are pretty good. It's like Optifine. So once I wanted to start making my way back up to the surface, I decided to mine as much copper as I saw on the actual ground, because I never actually mined copper before. And once I made my way back to the surface, I mined enough wood too, because I needed a bunch of chests to store my loot. And once I got back home, I did exactly that. But for some reason, there was a bunch of skeletons ready to fight me, but I don't know what I was expecting. This always happens in every 100 days. There's a bunch of skeletons who just want to fight, and for some reason, they start turning on each other. I don't question it. I just let them do what they want. And for some reason, yeah, I don't really know what to expect. They were just having a fight and I was just watching it. It was a nice entertainment until this guy won and then he wanted to fight me, so I literally one-tapped him. Next few days, I wanted to make the spyglass, and with the spyglass, I had acquired the final touch to my little epic equipment, and with that, I was like, okay, I think it's time to actually head into the nether. I know day 7, day 8, nether time already, you're kind of cracked, but there was a reason I wanted to go to the nether, and it wasn't to complete the game. I wanted to get enough quartz to actually start building my house, because I never actually used quartz to build a house, but quartz is actually one of my most favorite blocks in Minecraft. So for the next hour or so, I actually went mining for quartz, and you know what? I actually have missed grinding for quartz. It's been a bit of a journey, but I don't know. Let me know if you guys enjoy mining quartz or do you find it boring and tedious. I don't know. I really prefer it sometimes. But while I was in the nether, I decided, you know what? I can mine some wood, you know. I don't know if it's classed as cheating, but you know, I can quickly mine some wood. That would make life a lot more easier in the long term because, you know, I am running out of wood. Yeah, I'm not gonna cap. Most of the journey was actually spent me just mining as much nether quartz as I could. That was really it. Everything had been fully done. I made my way back home and started mining the red little terracotta. I don't know, red clay, red terracotta. I'm not too sure. With that, I actually started to make my house with enough quartz I had and enough red terracotta clay thingy majiggy. I was ready to build the most weird looking Aztec looking house I've ever seen in my entire life, and honestly it didn't come out that bad. To say I was just placing blocks, it was interesting. It was really interesting. Either way, I think the house started to turn out pretty okay. Like, to go off nothing, I think this came out as a little modern-esque mesa biome Badlands house, and with that I want to make some stairs, a little entrance, and some, yeah, the only blocks I had was this, so I made some dark oak doors, and with that I want to make some glass, and what a perfect opportunity then just mine up some sand, place them in there and make some glass panes. So I started to place a bunch of glass panes because that's like the main feature of this house. I wanted to keep it modern yet simple, and yeah, I don't know, it was hard to not break these glass panes into the wrong area. Once it had been done, I wanted to check out the interior of the house, and it was looking pretty good. It was kind of small compared to what I usually build, but again, it was kind of nice. But that's when these creepers wanted to blow up my entire area. I don't know why so many creepers spawn here, but they do. The next day, I still wanted to continue building on my house because it wasn't even half of the way completely done. So I still put all the slabs around. I wanted to make a little overhang feature, which I think is kind of synonymous with what I thought I'd build. And I decided to actually fill out the entire area. Now, the aim was I wanted to use this cool clay feature because it looks amazing. And I think it'd make an amazing floor. So that's exactly what I did. And I didn't regret anything I actually did in this house because it actually turned out perfect. And let me know if you guys have any tips for build. I kind of wing most of my builds, so I don't really know what to expect. But if you see, I started to place my chest over here. I started to move everything from the outside more into the inside, and this is where I had to kind of improvise because again, the house wasn't too big. It was slightly more small than I would have thought. And now one of the worst habits I have is breaking this. For some reason, I almost always die. I don't know. I'm lucky I haven't actually died yet, but with that, once I survived and I was ready, I made a little fishing pond area because I needed to actually bougie myself up, you know. I couldn't keep fishing in the middle of nowhere. So I made a little fishing dock area and I was ready to fish for my entire life, but then I realized, yep, there's no fishing rod. Yep, it's kind of scuffed. But then this guy came out of nowhere, hit me and walked away. I really don't know what to expect there, but okay. Now, this is where it got rather interesting because what I wanted to do was I wanted to go into the nether to explore a little bit, and that's when I came across a bastion. And if you know me at any point, you know that I don't actually take bastions on pretty early, but for some reason I was like, you know what, I'm low-key, I'm pretty confident in myself. So I wanted to take on this bastion early on and get as much loot as I could, which is exactly what I did. And I tell you, there was a lot of times I wanted to die like just inside, but for some reason the fishing rod kind of worked into pulling them in. But again, you don't know how hard it is to fishing rod without actually seeing the rod. Like I underestimated how hard it was, but sneakily I had to take on these chests. I had to use the most amazing strats to actually just check how can I acquire these without actually dying or getting hit, and this is exactly what I did. I got some cool loot, and for surprisingly, when I opened the chest, I got a netherite piece. How rare is it to get a netherite piece from a bastion? But then this magma cube came out of nowhere, and yeah, I wasn't knocked down. I wanted to check out if there was anything else around here, but there really wasn't. There was only one chest. With that, I made my way to the second portion of the bastion, and you know what? It wasn't actually that bad, but for surprisingly, I found like the perfect spot to hit these guys. If I was gonna say anything, I'd say it was rather easy to fight these guys. But this is where it almost messed up. This is where I could have actually died, and for some reason, I'm actually still surprised I didn't die. I had to use the most amazing block clutch features I've probably ever seen. And I still, yeah, I honestly, I should have really died there, but I don't know. I'm not going to question it. These guys just didn't want to hit me, and they let me survive, which I think I'm really happy about. And then for the next couple of times, I was just hitting these guys, trying to get them down as low as I could before I could just start looting their chests. And once I killed them all, I decided to loot all their chests. And honestly, it wasn't even worth it because the trash loot was trash. Like, it was actually trash. Once I finished the bastion, I made my way back into the portal, and I wanted to make my way back home and say goodbye to this stupid nether place. Because, you know, I've had so many close encounters to death. I started to store my loot, and I was ready. And what I was ready to do was make my first netherite piece in day 14. How is that even possible? I don't know how that's possible. All I know is I was hella hella stacked beyond belief. The next few days though, I wanted to go on a little bit of an adventure, and this adventure consists of I wanted to go a little bit more mining because I had 33 levels and I wanted to make an enchantment table, and so I needed more diamonds. But that's when I came across a stronghold, and I kid you not, I don't know if it's due to the new cave system or the new cave updates. Finding strongholds when you're mining is a lot more easy than it used to be. So I decided to explore the stronghold. I didn't know exactly what to expect, but at the same time I knew exactly what I wanted, and that was the bookshelf room. So instantly I went into the bookshelf room, I mined up all the bookshelves, and I checked the chest to see if there's anything cool. Really got some decent loot, but again, I really can't complain. Free stronghold. That's when I also came across this little portal room, and again, I wasn't going to take on the Ender Dragon. Imagine if I killed the Ender Dragon. I mean, realistically, I could have maybe in day 20, but you know what? I'm not really too fussed. I want to check it out. I want to check out the entire area, and you know what? It wasn't actually that bad. There was one eye, so yeah. I didn't want to spend too long into the stronghold, so I decided to, you know, once I've got enough, I decided to leave and start mining a bunch, because that's the main reason I started to explore, was I wanted to go mining and get as much resources as I could, which included diamond, iron, and gold. Once I got enough of those resources, I decided to keep on mining more copper, and this is where I was actually pretty happy with how the progress on this world was going. So I decided, you know what, let's start living life a little bit. Let me make a level 30 enchantment table and let me get fully stacked. So that's exactly what I did. I started to make the bookshelves, and once I made the bookshelves, I made my first crafting table, enchantment table, and yeah, I built it completely wrong. I ain't gonna cap. Don't roast me about this, but still, once I had enough, I made it properly, and I started to place it all the way down. This is my first ever level 30 enchantment table on this world, the mesa biome. And with that, I grinded my netherite legs, and I wanted to enchant, and for some reason I got protection 4 unbreaking 3, and that was perfect. At the same time, I also got a fortune 3 diamond pickaxe. I was ecstatic, and I think this was a perfect time to actually head out back onto the adventure. So I started to go into the cave, and this was the start of my downfall. This is when I realized, okay, wait, I don't have a door. I messed up, and I thought I was gonna die here. I ain't gonna cap. I thought I was gonna die, but then I realized, okay, I need wood. Now, do you remember the bad habit I was telling you about when I was mining all this? Yep, you know this. Yep, okay. Oh, I'm done, bro. I'm done.